The screech of tires ripped through the night like a scream I couldn't unhear, metal twisting into a symphony of chaos as my old Chevy spun out on the rain-slicked interstate outside Chicago. I remember the flash of headlights, the jolt that hurled me forward, and then nothing, just an endless void where time should have been. When my eyes snapped open, it wasn't to sirens or paramedics, but to a face hovering above me, creased with worry, whispering my name in a voice that cracked like thunder in my chest. Alex. Oh God, Alex, stay with me. I gasped, my lungs burning as if I'd been underwater for years, and bolted upright, sheets tangling around me like restraints. The room swam into focus, sterile white walls, beeping monitors, a window framing a skyline that looked too sharp, too alive with unfamiliar towers piercing a dawn sky. My hands, older, veined, scarred from something I didn't remember, clutched at the bed rail. What the hell happened? I croaked, my voice rougher than it should be, deeper, like gravel under boots. The man leaning over me, mid-30s, salt and pepper stubble framing sharp jawline, eyes the color of storm clouds, froze, his hand still on my shoulder. You were in an accident, Alex. A bad one. Hit your head pretty hard. Doctors said amnesia might. He trailed off, searching my face like he was mining for gold in a collapsed shaft. I knew that face. God, I knew it better than my own reflection. Jordan. My Jordan. But this wasn't the Jordan I'd last seen laughing over cheap beer in our cramped Wrigleyville apartment, all lean muscle and boyish grin at 25. This Jordan looked like life had carved him with a dull knife, tired lines around his eyes, a wedding band glinting on his finger that punched me square in the gut. Jordan, I whispered, the name tasting like ash and honey. 10 years. It hit me then, not from memory, but from the calendar on the wall, 2025. I'd been 25, fresh out of college, nursing a crush on my best friend that I'd buried deeper than my father's homophobic rants. We'd been inseparable since high school in suburban Illinois. Jordan, the golden boy with the easy smile who pulled me out of my shell. Me, the quiet artist sketching his profile in secret notebooks. I'd never told him. How could I? He was straight, or so I thought, dating girls who fluttered around him like moths. The night of the crash, I'd been driving home from a gallery opening, replaying the what-ifs after he'd announced his engagement to Sarah, the perfect girl from his office. One slick patch of road, one distracted glance at my phone, and poof, time thief. He nodded slowly, relief flooding his features like sunlight breaking clouds. Yeah, it's me. You scared the shit out of us, man. You've been out for 3 days. The car's totaled. Some asshole ran a red on the expressway. His thumb brushed my arm, a casual touch that sent sparks up my spine, same as always. But nothing was the same. I scanned the room, my phone on the side table, sleek and borderless, buzzing with notifications from apps I'd never heard of. A photo on the nightstand. Me and Jordan, arms slung around each other at what looked like a pride parade, rainbows painted on our cheeks, his head on my shoulder. Pride? Us. My heart hammered. What the hell had I missed? Nurses bustled in, checking vitals, murmuring about CT scans and therapy sessions. Jordan stayed glued to my side, fielding calls from family I barely recognized through the fog. My mom, voice tinny over speakerphone, sobbing about how she'd flown in from Florida. Dad, silent. As usual, since the day he'd called me a disappointment for coming out in whispers to the family 2 years back. I'd kept it from Jordan longest, terrified it'd shatter our friendship. Now, here he was, holding my hand like it was the most natural thing, and I couldn't process it. By afternoon, they wheeled me to a recovery room with a view of Lake Michigan, waves chopping under a December gray that felt too crisp, too now. Jordan helped me into a chair, his cologne, same woodsy scent, but layered with something mature, wrapping around me like a blanket. Talk to me, Alex. What's the last thing you remember clearly? I hesitated, throat tight. Us. At the bar on Halstead. You telling me about Sarah. Proposing. The words hung heavy, and his face crumpled, not in confusion, but pain, like I'd stabbed him with a dull blade. Sarah. He sank onto the bed's edge, rubbing his temples. That was a lifetime ago, buddy. We broke it off 6 months later. She wasn't. It wasn't right. His eyes met mine, shadowed. A lot's changed. For both of us. My pulse thundered. Changed how? The photo burned in my periphery, that casual intimacy screaming truths I dreamed of but never dared voice. Like what? I pressed, voice barely above a whisper. He leaned forward, elbows on knees, the wedding band catching light again. Wait, no. He'd twisted it off in his fidgeting, now tucked in his pocket. Like you finally telling me how you felt. And me realizing I'd been blind, in love with you all along, but too scared to admit it. We're together, Alex. Have been for 8 years. The world tilted. Together. Us. My silent love, no longer silent. It had bloomed in the decade I'd skipped, a garden I'd never planted. Joy surged, hot and fierce, but chased by terror. What if this was a dream, a coma hallucination? What if I woke up back in 2015, still alone? I reached for his hand, needing anchor, and he laced our fingers without hesitation, his grip steady as the lake outside. But as evening fell, shadows crept in with the questions. Why did the doctors keep glancing at Jordan like he was a ticking bomb? Why did my reflection in the window show faint scars on my jaw I didn't recognize, from fights, arguments? And that ring, he'd hidden it so quick. Unease coiled in my gut, a whisper that not all futures were kind. Discharge came faster than expected, Jordan insisting on driving me to our place in Logan Square, a brownstone that screamed success. Exposed brick, plants cascading from shelves, art on walls that looked suspiciously like my style, evolved, bolder strokes of color capturing faces, emotions I'd only sketched in secret before. He fussed over me like a hen, brewing coffee from beans I'd never tasted, strong and earthy, while I wandered the space, piecing together ghosts. Photos everywhere. Us at a beach in Provincetown, wind-whipped and laughing. A quiet dinner in Paris. Candlelight gilding his profile. My arm in a sling last year. Him kissing my forehead in a hospital much like this one. But gaps yawned. Framed certificates for his promotion at the ad agency. My name on a gallery show invite from 2020. And then, tucked on a high shelf, a dusty box labeled Mom's Letters. My mom. She'd barely spoken to me after I came out. Dad had cut ties entirely, muttering about choices and shame. Had they come around? Or was this future kinder only in illusions? Jordan caught me staring at the box, his smile faltering. You okay? Memory jogging. I nodded, throat dry. Just. Feels like I'm intruding on someone else's life. On our life. The words nearly slipped out. How I'd loved him in silence, sketching his laugh lines before they existed, aching every time he brought home a date. Now, here we were, domestic as apple pie, and it terrified me. What if I wasn't enough for this version of us? What if the accident hadn't just stolen time, but rewritten it? He pulled me onto the couch, our thighs brushing in a way that felt electric, familiar yet foreign. You're home, Alex. That's all that matters. His lips brushed my temple, soft as a promise, and for a moment, I let myself sink into it, the warmth of his body chasing the chill. But as he dozed off, head on my shoulder, I spotted a stack of mail on the coffee table. Bills for therapy sessions, a pamphlet from a support group for partners of those with PTSD. PTSD? Mine? His? The unease bloomed into dread. This future held love, yes, but what fractures had it forged along the way? That night, sleep evaded me, the bed too vast without the weight of knowing. Jordan snored softly beside me, arm draped possessively over my waist, but my mind raced back to 2015, the confession I'd bottled, the crash born of heartbreak. I'd swerved not just from rain, but regret. Now, 10 years gifted, I vowed to hold this tight. Yet dawn brought a knock at the door, my sister Elena, eyes red-rimmed, hugging me like I'd died and risen. We thought we'd lost you again, she whispered, and Jordan's face went ashen in the kitchen doorway. Again, I echoed, pulling back. Elena shot Jordan a look, sharp as shattered glass. The accident last year. You don't remember? She glanced away, voice cracking. You were driving home from that fight. The one where you left. Left. The word detonated. Jordan crossed the room, hand on my back, but his touch felt like chains now. It was nothing, Alex. Water under the bridge. But Elena's eyes said otherwise, brimming with unspoken accusations. As she left with promises of family dinner, the air thickened with secrets. I turned to Jordan, heart pounding. What fight? What did I leave? He sighed, sinking into a chair, face in hands. It's complicated. You were struggling, with me, with us. The pressure of hiding from your dad, the gallery stress. One night, you said you needed space, drove off. Wrapped your car around a tree on Lakeshore Drive. Coma for a month. When you woke, we promised to fight smarter, love harder. His voice broke. But you've blocked it all now. Like the universe hit reset. Reset. The irony burned. I'd time-traveled to escape pain, only to land in its echo chamber. Love had found us, yes, but so had the storms we'd weathered without me. As Jordan pulled me close, murmuring apologies into my hair, I wondered, could I rebuild this without the scars? Or would my past unravel the threads? Days blurred into a tentative rhythm. Mornings with Jordan's pancakes, fluffy stacks drowning in maple from a Vermont farm we'd apparently visited. Afternoons sketching in the studio he'd built off the kitchen, my hands rediscovering pencils that felt like old friends. He worked from home those first weeks, his laptop screen filled with campaigns for queer brands. Progress I'd missed, pride ads with diverse faces beaming under rainbows. You inspired this, he said one lunch, pointing to a billboard mock-up of two men holding hands against the cityscape. Your art, your fire. My fire. In 2015, I'd been a flicker, hiding sketches in drawers, dating sparingly to dodge Dad's lectures. Now, canvases lined the walls, raw portraits of Jordan mid-laugh, eyes crinkled with joy, abstracts swirling in blues and golds, evoking the ache of unspoken words. He'd kept them all, framed like treasures. It humbled me, this evidence of a life where my silence had shattered into song. But cracks spiderwebbed beneath the surface. Nights, I'd wake sweating from dreams of the crash, tires screaming, Jordan's voice distant. Alex, I love you too, morphing into accusations. Why didn't you tell me sooner? He'd soothe me then, holding tight, but his own sleep grew fractured, tossing with murmurs of don't leave again. Elena's visits stirred the pot, her chatter laced with barbs. Jordan's been a rock, but you know how he gets, clinging when he's scared. She'd squeeze my hand, eyes pleading. Don't let him smother you this time. Smother. The word festered. One evening, as snow dusted the windows, Chicago's first of the season, Jordan suggested a walk to the Blue Line, our old haunt for late-night confessions. Bundled in coats that smelled of cedar closets, we trudged through slush, breath fogging the air. Streetlights haloed the L tracks, rumbling above like a mechanical heartbeat. Remember our first time here? He asked, voice soft against the wind. High school, sneaking beers, talking dreams. I nodded, throat tight. You wanted to change the world. Ad guys saving souls through slogans. He laughed, low and warm. And you, the artist who'd capture it all. Turns out, we did, together. His gloved hand found mine, swinging between us, casual as breathing. Passers-by barely glanced. In this 2025, hand-holding gaze were scenery, not scandal. Progress swelled in my chest, bittersweet. But at the station, a group of teens catcalled, slurs slinging like snowballs, fags ruining the city. Jordan stiffened, grip tightening, but I yanked free, fury igniting. Hey, I shouted, stepping forward. Walk away or learn some manners. They scattered, laughing, but Jordan pulled me back, face pale. Not worth it, Alex. Let it go. Let it go. I whirled on him. That's your answer? Hide like we did in high school. His eyes flashed, hurt mirroring mine. I'm protecting us. You think I want another fight, another hospital? The words landed like punches, echoing Elena's warnings. We trudged home in silence, the warmth shattered. That night, the dam broke. Curled on the couch, wine loosening tongues, Jordan confessed the unconfessed. After your first coma, I panicked. Clung too hard. Pushed therapy, pride events. Anything to prove we were solid. But you started pulling away, saying I was trying to fix you, make you the poster boy for happy gay life. That night you left, it was over a stupid argument about your dad's birthday. You wanted to invite him, show him we'd made it. I said no, he'd poison us. You stormed out, crashed. Tears tracked his cheeks. I thought I'd lost you forever. Blamed myself for not seeing how his rejection still cut you. My chest ached, visions of Dad's cold stare flooding back. His voice, you'll burn for this, son. I'd internalized it, armored my love for Jordan in silence to spare him the fallout. Now, that armor had rusted through. I never told you, I admitted, voice raw. How deep it went. How I loved you from the start, but thought you'd run if you knew. He cupped my face, thumbs brushing tears I hadn't felt fall. I was blind, Alex. Dated Sarah to fit the script, family man, straight arrow. But it was you always. When you confessed after her breakup, it was like waking up. We kissed then, slow and searing, not lust but reclamation, lips mapping apologies, tongues tasting forgiveness. But as we broke apart, his phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Miss you tonight. Dinner tomorrow. Heart emoji. Jordan snatched it away, but not before I saw the name. Riley. Who's that? I asked, ice in my veins. He hesitated, then sighed. A friend. From the support group. Nothing more. Liar, the old Hertz whispered. Or was it? The future I'd landed in was a mosaic. Beautiful, but pieced from shards I'd never glued. The lie, if it was one, festered like an untreated wound. Mornings grew strained. Jordan's touches lingering too long, his questions probing. Any flashes? Dreams? I'd nod, sketching furiously to fill the voids, portraits of him now edged with shadows, eyes haunted by what I imagined. Elena noticed, cornering me at a coffee shop on Milwaukee Avenue, steam rising from our lattes like unspoken fog. He's spiraling again, she said, stirring sugar she didn't need. After your coma last year, he threw himself into work, then us, pushing for marriage talks, adoption dreams. You shut down, said it felt like performance. That's why you left that night. Marriage, adoption, visions of a life I'd skipped, rings, nurseries, little hands tugging at coattails, swirled, dizzying. I want that, I murmured. With him. But this gap, it's like I'm chasing a ghost version of us. She reached across, her wedding band, straight, safe, to an accountant named Mark, glinting. Then Bridget. Talk. And watch Riley. Jordan swears it's platonic, but that group's for partners who've lost someone. He goes to grieve what your accidents took from him. But Riley's young, fresh-faced, listens in ways you can't, with your blank slate. Jealousy coiled, green and vicious. Not just a rival, but a mirror to the me he'd lost, unscarred, whole. That evening, I confronted him over takeout Thai, curry spice sharp on my tongue. Riley, what's the deal? Jordan set down his fork, eyes weary. He's a friend, Alex. Lost his husband to cancer last spring. We bonded over survivor's guilt. That's all. Guilt. I pressed, fork stabbing rice. From my crashes? Or something else? He recoiled, chair scraping. God, Alex, not everything's a conspiracy. You're the one who vanished into your head, sketching instead of talking. I needed someone who got the fear without the fog. The words stung, truth in their barbs. My silence, past and present, had built walls he was clawing through alone. I'm trying, I whispered. But waking up to this. Us. It's a gift and a curse. I love you, Jordan. The boy I knew, the man you are. But if there's doubt. No. He was across the table in a blink, knees bracketing mine, hands framing my face. No doubt. Riley's a crutch, nothing more. I'll cut it off. For us. Relief washed, tentative, and we made love. Not the frantic passion of young lovers, but slow, deliberate, bodies mapping familiar landscapes with new eyes. Whispers in the dark, promises to therapy, to facing Dad together. But Dawn brought a package at the door, art supplies from my gallery, note enclosed, can't wait for the show. Your edge is back, raw real. Love, Mia. Mia, my assistant. Partner? The ambiguity nod. Jordan read over my shoulder, smile tight. She's excited. Your work's blowing up since the rebirth. Rebirth. Ironic, for a man pieced from time's scraps. Weeks turned, snow piling into drifts that muffled the city. Therapy sessions in a cozy Wicker Park office unpacked the layers. My internalized shame from Dad's bigotry, Jordan's fear of abandonment rooted in his own coming-out scars, parents who shipped him to conversion camp at 16, emerging bruised but unbroken. I clung to you, he admitted one session, Dr. Lena nodding sagely. Because you were the first who saw me, not the label. And I hid. I countered. Because losing you would have gutted me worse than Dad's hate. Progress, fragile as first ice. But prejudices lurked beyond our bubble. At a family dinner Elena hosted, turkey and fixings in her Lincoln Park row house, Dad showed. Older, grayer, but the scowl etched deep. Mom hovered, peacemaker in pearls, while Elena's kids chased Jordan around the yard, calling him Uncle Jay. Dad's eyes narrowed over pie. Heard about the accident. Time to straighten up, Alex. This lifestyle, it's behind you now, right? Start fresh. The table froze. Jordan's fork clattered, my pulse roaring. Dad, I said, voice steel-eyed forged in silence. I'm gay. Have been. Will be. And Jordan's my partner. Deal with it or leave. He blustered, red-faced, Mom's hand on his arm futile. You're throwing away family for. Family's here. Jordan cut in, quiet thunder, standing to clear plates. Love's not a phase. It's us. Dad stormed out, doors slamming like a guillotine. Mom stayed, tears flowing apologies, hugging us both. He's trying in his way. Give him time. Time. The thief that gave and took. But the real storm brewed closer. Riley texted again. Ignored, then blocked. But not before Jordan's phone lit up during a gallery opening. My reawakened show drawing crowds to a river north space pulsing with chatter and clinking glasses. Canvases glowed under spots. Jordan's face fragmented into past and future selves. Love's evolution in oils. Mia, petite, pixie cut, all energy, hugged me effusively. You're killing it. That central piece? Cathartic as hell. She was straight, married, my right hand in this life. Scouting shows, handling sales. Relief, small. Jordan mingled, charming as ever, but his laugh rang hollow when Riley appeared. Tall, lithe, early 30s with kind eyes and a dimpled smile, clapping Jordan on the back. Heard about the miracle. Good to see you upright. Jordan stiffened, shooting me an apologetic glance. Riley, this is. We've heard, Riley said, grin easy. The time jump artist. Inspiring stuff. But his hand lingered on Jordan's shoulder, a beat too long. Jealousy flared, irrational, but Dr. Lena's words echoed. Feelings aren't facts, Alex. Communicate. Later, in a quiet corner amid swirling dresses and suits, I pulled Jordan aside. He's here. What? Invited by Mia, group connection. I didn't know. His eyes pleaded. Trust me. But trust cracked when, during my toast. Thanking the muses, the loves that endure. Riley's gaze locked on Jordan, soft, yearning. And Jordan looked away, but not before I saw the flicker. Comfort? Or more? The night ended in fracture. Home. Words flew like shrapnel. You're flirting with escape. I accused, pacing the studio, brushes scattering. And you're paranoid from a decade you don't remember, he shot back, voice breaking. I sat by your bed for months, Alex. First crash, second. Prayed you'd wake, that we'd fix this. Riley listens without the weight of our history. No judgment, no ghosts. Ghosts? I halted, chest heaving. Like the one I am to you now? A blank slate you can project onto. He deflated, sinking to the floor, back against canvas stacks. No. God, no. You're everything. But I'm terrified. What if this amnesia sticks? What if you wake one day and realize you deserve better than my baggage? Baggage. The word unlocked floods. His camp scars, my dad's venom, our shared silences that had bloomed into this beautiful, brittle thing. I slid down beside him, our shoulders touching. Then we unpack it. Together. No crutches, no escapes. He turned, forehead to mine. Promise. Promise. We clung there, amid paint and possibility, as sirens wailed outside. An echo of my crash, but this time, we held fast. Spring thawed the city, cherry blossoms dusting sidewalks like confetti for our recommitment. Therapy deepened, Dad's letters, sporadic, stiff, hinting at cracks in his armor. Saw your show online. Proud in my way. Progress, glacial. But surprises lurked. One April afternoon, Jordan burst through the door, eyes alight, holding papers. Adoption prelims. They approved us for the home study. Adoption. The word hung, joyous terror. Us? A family. He knelt, ring box emerging, simple platinum, engraved with our initials intertwined. Marry me, Alex. For real this time. No accidents, no doubts. Tears blurred him, the boy I'd loved silently now offering forever. Yes, I breathed, pulling him up, kiss sealing vows amid laughter and plans, nursery sketches, vows under the L tracks. Yet fate, cruel jester, twisted. 2 weeks later, a call from Dr. Lena's office. Anomaly in my scans. Temporal lobe irregularities. Possible dissociative episode, not amnesia. We need more tests. Dissociative. Not time travel, but fracture. My mind splintering under stress, fabricating the past to cope. 2025 was real. 2015, a constructed haven from pain. I confronted the mirror, face unchanged, scars from the second, crash faint but there. No leap, just loss, layered. Jordan held me as I unraveled, truths spilling. The first crash after Sarah's wedding invite. I'd confessed, he'd reciprocated, but doubts lingered. The second, after Dad's final disownment at our engagement party. I'd driven off, wrecked, coma, erasing months. This future, I sobbed. It's ours, but I broke it. No, he murmured, fierce. We built it, flaws and all. Riley faded, blocked, confronted, a clean break. Elena mediated with Dad, a tentative lunch yielding gruff nods. Hurt you boys. Sorry's hard, but it's there. Climax crested at our wedding. June under a tent in Grant Park. Lake breeze carrying vows. I love you. Past the silences, through the storms. Jordan's eyes, clear now, mirrored mine whole. Guests cheered, Mom beaming, Elena toasting, even Dad in the back, silent but present. As we danced, slow sway to an old jazz tune, his whisper sealed it. Found you again, every time. And in that moment, time bent not an accident, but grace, silent love, finally voiced, enduring.